This is your ultimate stop for everything sports. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Should I say more? From the NFL, MLB, the NBA to MMA, it's all in here. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Listen now.
And welcome, everyone, to the Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Pauline.
And I'm Anthony.
And whoa, Anthony.
Sorry, I'm trying to adjust the microphone and it just went dong.
Anyway, so we're going to just jump into the sports podcast right now. I guess that's what we have to do.
That's the job.
Not like we have a choice. Except for I kind of wish that we did have a choice and that we could discuss just my day.
Just your day? That's
just my day. Day in the life of Paulie P. But anyway, so we're going to start off with some NBA, some recaps of the scores from last night, as well as some heartbreaking news for the 76ers.
I mean, is it heartbreaking? I feel like they kind of have been used to this at this point.
It's heartbreaking for me, for them.
I mean, it's one of those things.
I'm sad.
I think at this point it's one of those things where it's just like, you know, when you have like a bad day and it's just like you have like
one
4 or 5 different things. It's like, oh, there's another one? Oh, okay, cool, great.
Yeah.
Only this has been going on for like 5 years for them.
Aw, anyways, so we're going to give you guys an update on what's going wrong in the No Good, Horrible. What's that book? No Good.
Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day.
Yes. Alexander's No Good. They made that a movie, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see it.
Neither did I. I know it exists, but yeah.
But I loved that book back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
He woke up with his gum in his hair. That was a bad start. He should have just stayed in bed.
Yeah, that's a sign.
Anyway, so we're going to get into what's going on in the horrible, no good, bad day of the Sixers. Then we have a little bit of football to discuss and Johnny's no good, horrible, bad day. Everybody's just having a bad day in sports. But if you're Russell Westbrook, you're not because you're excited. You're about to have a baby soon.
Right.
So there's some good in there. We'll try to shine some light in all this darkness later. So anyways, let's get into the recap of the scores from last night. So we have the New York Knicks and the Orlando Magic. The Knicks defeated the Magic at home 101-90. Derrick Rose, he had 19 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists. So that's a bright light for the Knicks.
I mean, he's better. Like, he's not like Derrick Rose, but he's been doing fine this year. The problem is like the Knicks are
but that's why, yeah.
The Knicks.
They won.
They did. Congratulations.
So
but you beat the Magic. The Magic are bad. They're like, it's not just like the Magic are bad. Like the Magic like seemingly just like have people on the roster that's like, is he good? He's fine.
Hey.
Name me a player on that roster that's good. That's like good.
No, like I was going to say, well, we'll get into it because I already know you're going to make fun of me about something else later. So
okay, on
that same vein. But then the Wizards defeated the Raptors 105-96. Yeah, that's a good game.
The Wizards have been playing a lot better recently, and the Raptors, they got Serge Ibaka, so they're both trying to do anything to compete with Cleveland. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I guess that's everyone's trying
their
out.
Mindset,
especially
right
with
now.
Durant and everything now. Like every team is basically trying to like get even with the Warriors, even though Durant looks like he's probably going to come back for the playoffs. Looks like
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, it's just you got to make sure he's not like injured because I think the bone bruise or whatever that he has, or at least one of the 2 injuries, is the thing that Steph Curry had last playoffs. So it's one of those things where you hope it's not like anything that lingers on because you don't want the Warriors to be injured again. Like you kind of want this one to be like, okay, everyone's healthy, cool, good.
Yes.
All right, let's go.
Exactly.
And then you got like the Mavericks. They lost to the Hawks 100-95.
Mm-hmm.
You got the Heat just beating down the 76ers.
Yes.
Again, poor 76ers. 125-98. The Nuggets beat the Bucks 110-98. Giannis Antetokounmpo. It's hard to say that word sometimes. It's very long.
Oh, yes. Ben says it so fluidly, though. He loves that name.
Once you get it down, which clearly I have not yet, it's not, it makes you sound less smart. It's like, oh, yeah, Giannis Antetokounmpo. It's like, oh, okay, cool. New Orleans, I find this really funny, actually. So this is a little bit of the petty in me.
Okay.
Tiny little bit of the petty in me.
Okay.
The Pelicans beat the Pistons, right? 109-86.
Yep.
Anthony Davis, great job. 33 points, 14 rebounds, 3 assists.
Anthony Davis, yep.
What did I say?
No.
Oh,
I'm saying like Anthony Davis. Mm-hmm.
I thought I said like Anthony Jones or something like that. I was like, did I say someone else?
No.
Like, really good game, right? Fantastic.
Right.
Also, Cousins is out because he got suspended because he can't stop getting technical fouls. Like, It's kind of like a Tourette's at this point for him.
And I was missing you the other day. I wanted to talk to you about that because when he got that tech and the previous game that made him suspended for this game, I had tweeted, I was like, at Pelicans, he's your problem now. Because, and I couldn't restrain myself.
Right.
I couldn't. I should have. But I just thought it was funny because, and we've always talked about this. There's a lot of greatness that comes with DeMarcus Cousins, but there's a lot of this as well.
Mm-hmm. No, he's really good, really talented. Also, cannot stop from getting technical fouls.
Cannot. In 32 seconds, I think it was. It was the first 32 seconds of the game, less than a minute.
Just immediately, it was just like, oh, I'm going to get this technical foul.
He
and
was itching for it.
Gone for this game. And now the one win that they have since acquiring Cousins, he wasn't on the team for.
Yes.
He has more, with him in the lineup, they have more suspensions. He has more suspensions than he does wins. I know, that's a petty. I'm just saying. And then also, so moving on, the Celtics, they beat the Cavs 103-99. Isaiah Thomas, all 5 foot, we'll call it 8 of him because it says 5'9".
I think his roster is 5'9".
The thing says
which means he's like 5'7".
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'll give him 5'8". I'll go somewhere in between that.
What's your roster height, like 6'6"?
I'll take that. Probably be like 6 foot 6'1", something like that. But he's like, he does all he can, man. Like, he 31 points. Like, he somehow gets like legitimate shots up in the NBA that like you shouldn't do, and then LeBron's just like, okay, I'm gonna get a triple double, and still not enough. I do love the fact that every single time the Cavs play without LeBron, basically they lose.
Yeah.
Like, he'll miss like a couple of games here and there, and then pretty much every single time where it's like, okay, Kyrie, Kevin, step up, do good things, and they're just like, I don't know, and they just like lose by like 10 points every single time. LeBron's like, see, this is why I have to play all these minutes. This is why I have to play like 45 minutes a game in my 32nd year in life or something like that. I have to keep playing all these minutes.
No, I totally agree. I hear what you're saying, and I think, and it cracks me up because, like when he does take those rests and stuff,
right? Last week he did the thing where he took 2 weeks off. Basically, he went to South Beach. Basically, got healthy. Assume whatever you want with that, but he's trying to basically help lead the team in any way possible. Like you said, triple doubles, everything else like that. The Celtics are just, are the Celtics good? I asked that question 100% legitimately. Like, I don't know if they're good. Like, I don't think they're like an average team. I think they're a good team, but like, I don't know how good they are because they're second in the East. And I don't know anybody on that team that's like legitimately good outside of Thomas. Like, you got like Jay Crowder and Marcus Smart. Like, solid players like that, but like he's the only one that's just like really, really good. But he's again also like 5'8".
No, I get it.
And LeBron, like in the playoffs, they'll just be like, LeBron, you see Isaiah Thomas? Yeah, guard him. Make sure he doesn't do anything.
Yes, then it's
because he did that with Derrick Rose when Derrick Rose was at the peak of his power in like 2011 or whatever. It's just like, all right, LeBron, go guard him, and then Derrick Rose wasn't Derrick Rose anymore.
Right. No, I agree. So we'll have to see with that one.
Spurs beat the Pacers 100-99 on Kawhi Leonard's fadeaway at the end of the game. Kawhi Leonard. Jazz lost to the Minnesota Timberwolves 107-80. Got the Rockets just scoring all of the points.
All of the points.
Well, it was only 122, which doesn't seem like only 122, but they like the first 3 quarters it was 34, 36, 38, and then the last one it was 14. They're just like, it's fine. Like, they literally lost by 11 points in the fourth quarter, and they still won by 19. Like, I don't like all they're doing basically what the Rockets have basically figured out about the NBA is just like, okay, so we're basically going to take all of these threes and all of these layups, and we're just going to give the easiest shots that we can. I mean, last night they had 52 threes. Like, that's what they're going to do. They're going to shoot 50 threes a game.
I know.
Like, whatever the Warriors do, they do it more. Maybe not better. But they do it more.
And if you do it more, then eventually more are going to fall in.
That's their hope, right? And they got good players to do it, like Lou Williams.
Up 50
right.
shots, something's going to fall in.
Right, and they make 20 of 52, and that's, 40% basically, so they're percentage-wise doing really well with that. They got players like Lou Williams, Eric Gordon, James Harden. Like, they got dudes that can actually do it. Their goal is basically just to, like how the Spurs' goal with the Warriors is basically just to be like, oh, we're going to, kind of play defense and try and, like, mess you up that way. The Rockets is just like, oh, you got a 3? Okay, we're going to get a 3. And it's basically just going to be the thing of just copying them and seeing who can be the best at it.
Yes.
And then
I see it.
And then the Kings lost to the Nets because.
Hey.
Look.
See, this is what I knew that you were going to talk mess about, because when you were talking about, who's good on the what team was it that you just said they lost? Oh, the Magic.
Oh, the Magic, yeah.
And I was like, well, yeah, we just lost to the Nets.
That's the thing. Well, right. So the Kings. Here's the thing. The way the draft works with the Kings is basically you have to have a top 10 pick, otherwise your pick goes to the Bulls. Mm-hmm. Cool. Also, the Sixers can swap picks with the Kings. Like, if the Kings get the number 1 overall pick and the Sixers get the 5th overall pick, now the Kings have the 5th and the Sixers have the 1st. Like, they can just swap with them like that.
Sure.
So the best thing for the Kings to do is to hope that both them and the Sixers are awful, which losing to the Nets helps that cause. That helps them get down low. But the Nets were doing so badly. Like, they lost, 16 in a row. Like, how do you – look.
I know.
Like, here's the thing. Like, it's one of those things of just, you don't want to be that team that, actually gives up the win to them because, you want to keep it going, right? 16 in a row. They've been so bad. The people outside of Brook Lopez, who's been on the Nets for his entire career, about a decade now almost, everyone else on the team is just, players that you're just why are you still in the NBA? You go down the list of all the people that are, playing on that team. Like I said, Brook Lopez, good player. He's been in the league for a little bit, done really well. Jeremy Lin, I don't know how good he is. He had a really good stretch in New York, and then after that, he hasn't been
I agree.
as good of a player. He's been fine, but he hasn't been great. Randy Foye, still in the league. Quincy Acey, still in the league. Isaiah Whitehead, still in the lead. There's a guy on that team named Dinwiddie. That's the name of a player on the team, right? Kilpatrick, KJ McDaniels. He's I played with him a lot when, with 2K. I played with him when he was on the Sixers because it was a thing where a buddy and I we would play and he'd play the Sixers, and that's how I learned who was on the roster. Yes. Was just playing 2K all the time, and he went from the Sixers to the Rockets, and then he got traded to the Nets this year. And poor KJ, you were on the Rockets, it was going great. Mm-hmm. You didn't get a lot of minutes, but you know what? It was still okay because you were on a good team. Now you're on the Nets. That's unfortunate for you.
No, I get it. Now you're on the Nets. Oh.
But now you got the Kings who, like I said, I guess they should lose. They won the first game after the DeMarcus trade, and it was yay, we're going to be great. We're going to get all these wins, forgetting about the fact that the reason you got the win was, maybe team morale and everyone's playing a little bit better, a little more cohesive. Also, it's right after the All-Star break, so you kind of had a week off because none of those players on there went to All-Star weekend. Right. None of them.
Right.
So they were all nice and rested. And you go out and you win the game. The Pelicans lost their game. All the Kings fans are getting happy. It's hey, look at our team. We're good.
Yes.
And then it's just one of those things, just hold on, just give it time.
No, I agree.
And now the time has come.
So we'll see. But with that, we're going to cut it to our first break.
Mm-hmm.
When we come back, we'll talk about the 76ers a little bit more.
Joel.
And then we'll get into some football as well. So keep it locked here. You are listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. We will be right back.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
back, everyone, to the Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. I'm your favorite host, Pauline.
And I'm Anthony.
And so we have some sad news to share with everyone. Well, I think it's sad.
I mean,
I'm pretty sad.
It is sad.
It hurts me.
I do feel bad for him because he's trying. He's trying so hard to play. They even did the thing with Joel Embiid where they did the thing like, you don't play back-to-backs. Second game of back-to-back, you don't play. And then still out for the season.
He got snubbed with the All-Stars.
Mm-hmm.
Just all he was straight up disrespect.
All he was trying to do was get in that All-Star nod so he can go out with, I don't even know, was it Rihanna? It was somebody he was trying to go out with, trying to get a date with somebody.
Really?
It was
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, it was something. I think he.
No, he tweeted it. Wasn't it a tweet?
It was, well, yeah, like basically it was a thing where I think we thought it was Rihanna, and then he asked him, he's just like, no, it's not that. It was somebody, though, and the thing was like, I'll go out on a date with you if you're an all-star. So, Joel was like, oh, word? All right, cool. And then just tried to, like, spread it everywhere, like, vote me in his all-star game. And he was close, but he didn't make it. And now, out for the season.
She should have still went on a date with him, though.
Yeah, well, that's...
I would have been like, you're the all-star of my life, baby.
That's very nice and sappy and...
Yeah.
I like it.
You gotta make your man feel like he's the champ of your life regardless.
That's fair enough.
Regardless.
Yeah.
As long as he treats you good.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah.
I voted for you.
Anyways. Unfortunately, now, though, he's done. He's not playing anymore this season. The Sixers, again.
Nice segue, Anthony.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he's done.
Unfortunately, he's done. So now, no date, no all-star, no season.
No knee.
No.
No, okay, so basically he had a follow-up MRI.
Right.
He hasn't been playing since January 27th.
Right.
So he's been out a couple of weeks already. But he's going to be, it's official that he's going to be out the rest of season. Mm-hmm. They did a follow-up MRI, and it revealed that he had a meniscus tear, which they were kind of already aware about, but it's been more pronounced. So definitely looking at having some surgery. Right. For sure.
And he did the thing where he was out, but they weren't reporting that it was like any kind of serious. It was like a day-to-day thing. And then slowly, like you wouldn't play for a little while. And people were just like, okay, but why is he not doing this? What's happening? Like, why isn't he playing? You said it was day-to-day, but he's been out for a little bit of time. Mixing the fact that you got Ben Simmons, who is the third, I think, rookie that they've had recently, whether it be him, Joel Embiid, or Nerlens Noel, who's been out for their rookie campaign.
Right.
Now you get Joel Embiid, who was doing really well, right? Like
yes,
he was
in
technically his rookie year, even though it's his third year, of being paid by the Philadelphia 76ers. He was doing really well. He was getting 2.5 blocks, somewhere close to 20 and 10 as far as points go. The only thing was he didn't play in a lot of games. Like he's only played in 31 games this season. So even though his numbers are like, worthy of like rookie of the year, like you didn't even play in half the games.
Yeah.
And no one else in the NBA is really doing that well as far as rookies go. So now you got the like weird thing of just like, do you make him rookie of the year because his numbers look so good, and you just kind of like don't, pay too much attention to that one number on the left side of games played. Just pay attention to the points,
right,
blocks and rebounds kind of thing. But now with the Sixers, it's a weird thing. I think next year, it's either next year or the year after. I think it's after next year, he's a free agent, right? Because usually, because usually with rookies, how it works is like, oh, you have your rookie season, everything goes great, then you got a few more years to kind of, see if you can continue it or do whatever.
Right.
For him, since he's been gone for such a long period of time, and we had no idea if he was good or not. Now at least you have some sort of an idea if he's good. Yeah. But also, at the end of next year, he can basically look at Philadelphia and be like, all right, peace, I'm going to go to Phoenix, I'm going to go to wherever, and make his own decision. I just say Phoenix because Phoenix has those doctors apparently that do really well. Like they're the ones that kept Steve Nash, healthy throughout his whole time there. And then as soon as he goes to L.A., bam, he gets hurt. Grant Hill had all those problems when he was in Detroit. Yeah. Then he goes over to Phoenix. He plays like 82 games for a few seasons. So like that's the only reason why I say Phoenix, because they seemingly keep you healthy. But he's, if he gets Rookie of the Year, right? If Embiid gets Rookie of the Year in the 31 games played, it's by far the least amount of games played for a rookie to win Rookie of the Year in a season that's not like 1999 where it was 50 games, or 2012 where it was 66, right? Outside of the strike short seasons, the lowest before that was Patrick Ewing in 85, 86, where he played 50. And even that, like 50 still like a round enough number to where it was just like, all right, that's most, it's enough games to where you get at least a good sample size. Right. Like Brandon Roy had 57, Murray Stokes had 67. Like those games, like it's not a lot. Like, it's not something you would like, but at least then you get a good enough sample size to where it's just like, okay, that's Embiid's almost half of that with Brandon Roy with 57. Like, that's almost half of those games. And now with Philadelphia, in a perfect world, right, in best case situation.
Sure.
Next year, you have Dario Saric still playing. You got Ben Simmons coming back, actually playing his rookie season.
Mm-hmm.
You got Joel Embiid coming back for his basically final year of his rookie deal. You have Nerlens Noel, not Nerlens Noel, Jahlil Okafor, because Nerlens Noel, he got traded away to Dallas. And you have whatever draft pick they got coming in, right? Whatever top 5, 10 pick or whatever it is coming in. So you have all these really young players, but you have no idea if they'll be healthy or if they'll be good or anything else like that.
Yeah.
And the whole thing with Sam Hinkie was like the process, basically getting all these players. Well, they just traded away Noel. Okafor doesn't play defense at all. Dario Saric is pretty good, but this is his first year in the league. Ben Simmons is hurt. Embiid is hurt. Like, it's even 5 years later or whatever it is, you still have no idea. Like, the first year of it, I think they got Michael Carter-Williams, and he's long since been traded a couple different times now in the NBA. So after all the whole trust the process thing, it's still, I don't know. Like, I don't know if they'll be going in the right direction, because it looked like they were going in the right direction this year. Like, they weren't going to make the playoffs, but at least Joel Embiid made them, like, entertaining and fun to watch.
Gave them,
Yeah, like, he was at least doing good
Put
stuff.
them on the map. Mm-hmm.
Right. And then as soon as he stopped playing, then all of a sudden they lost a little bit more.
Yeah.
And it was just like, oh, right, Philly, right, that's kind of what you do.
Right.
Now it's this, and now, like, I feel bad for Embiid, I do, because, I mean, through Twitter or through whatever, he was the most entertaining dude in the NBA. And that includes people like Nick Young and Russell Westbrook.
No, yeah, I agree.
Like, he was a lot of fun, and, like, you just kind of want him to stay that way. And
right, no, truly.
if he keeps having to, like, basically, do, rehabs all the time and basically becomes Greg Oden, that's not going to be fun.
Oh, yes.
And he's a big man, so you kind of worry about, like, the legs and the knees and the feet, basically.
Especially the knees. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Like, luckily he hasn't had, like, a foot problem. Like, generally, if you're a big man and have the foot problems, that's what kills you the most. That's what happened.
He had foot surgery.
But I mean, like, over and over again. Like, it's one thing of, like, this, but, like, it was, like, meniscus and he had foot. Like, if you keep having the foot injury over and over again,
I see.
like, if you have it one time, like, okay, that's fine. Everyone has it once. But if you have it, like, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, then that's when you're like, okay, so you're pretty much done. Because that's what killed Yao Ming. That's what killed Walton. That's what, hurts a lot of people in the NBA.
Yeah.
The feet problems, and then you can't get up down the court as much. You're not as athletic, and then you just can't keep up with everything. It's just, like, you hope that's not the thing, because, like, I really like watching Joel Embiid.
I know. I'm hoping that he'll get this and it won't slow him down, like you said. It'll just have the surgery, recover, come back, then that'll be great.
Yeah.
Yep. So we'll see. Hopefully, I know all the 76ers fans are praying that same prayer. So we'll cut it to our last break of the episode, and when we come back, we're going to shift some gears into some football drama.
Right.
So keep it locked here. You're listening to the Golden State Media Concept Sports Podcast. We will be right back.
Do you want to be healthier, yet you just don't know what to do? All these shows telling you this and that, but nothing seems to work. Well, listen close. Golden State Media Concepts has got something great for you. The Health and Wellness Podcast dedicated to workout trends, healthy eating habits, diet, and everything about healthy living. Join us in our banters as we help you not just live life to the fullest, but live it to the healthiest.
And welcome back, everyone, to the Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. So we are going to wrap up this episode on a football note, but I don't know. It's not really an exciting football note. Well, maybe, perhaps. We're going to start off discussing, Josh Gordon. And he is applying for reinstatement. He hasn't played since 2014. So he is reapplying for reinstatement. He did so actually yesterday, Wednesday. And he's a wide receiver for the Cleveland Browns. And hopefully if things go according to his plan. And I'm hoping that he has it all together, is wanting to play back again. He wants to play it. He wants to play.
Yeah,
he wants to be allowed back.
He basically is trying to get back into the NFL. Like, he's, you know, for the entirety of his basically playing career, dating back to college, has had, like, you know, drug issues, been suspended for smoking. So he's trying to come back, right? He's trying to make it back into the NFL. Like, he tried to make it back last year, but then in October went into rehab, right? He went into a rehab facility, which good. Like, if you've got a legit problem, that's a good thing to try and, like, you know, sober up and all that good kind of stuff.
Yeah, no,
right.
Definitely.
And he's someone who, when he was healthy, you legitimately saw how good he was, because even in 14 games back in 2013, dude had 1,650 yards, basically. Like, he was really, really, really good.
Yes, and he only played, I think, like 5 games the next season.
Next season he only played 5 games.
Suspended.
Yeah.
I believe 10.
And that's when the whole thing basically started. Like, he was suspended then he was suspended all of 15. Like, he keeps getting things where it's just like, you want him to come back.
Abuse,
yeah, so now he's trying to make it back, and while I really hope he does, like, there's like a quote in here that, like, doesn't make me feel any type of better, right? Because, you know, his business manager basically said Josh is living with me and is in the best place mentally that he's been in, dating back to his years before entering the NFL. He's been taking the proper steps to treat his issues and has followed a very strict protocol that the league and our team has had laid out for him. He's also in the best shape of his life and even better than he did when he had his breakout year in 2013. This will be a special year for Josh, and we are all very proud of the way he has taken the necessary steps to turn his life around. All right, that sounds great. You know, fantastic. Good for you.
Sure.
Also, you ever, like, pay attention to what, like, people say when they're, like, 35 and playing in professional sports, like, be it NFL, Major League Baseball, whatever, like, when you're about, like, you know, in your early to mid-30s, you know, when you're not, like, at your, like, peak prime performances anymore, you'll always hear people who are, like, kind of in the last few years of the league saying, like, oh, I'm in the best shape of my life. It's just like, it's like, that's just code for, like, you really want to keep playing and you don't want to have anybody know that your back hurts really badly still.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm in the best shape of my, like, you hear those things, and you might be in good shape.
Buzz phrase, yes.
Right, like, and you, don't get me wrong, like, you might be in good shape, because to be fair, he's only 25 years old. Like, he'll be 26 in April.
Sure.
So, I mean, he legitimately still in probably, like, great shape. But, like, I equate those things to just, like, you know, he's in the best shape of his life. Mentally, he's in the best place. Like, okay, also, you kind of are just trying to make people, like, really believe that you're okay. Like, you might still have some stuff.
Let's just see it.
Right. You know, like, I never really trust the whole, like, I'm in the best shape of my life. It's like, oh, okay, cool. So you've got, like, a year or two left in the league. All right, cool, fantastic.
Yes.
You know, like, Brady says
saying
that stuff like that. And to be fair, Brady keeps playing at a high level, but Brady's also not athletic. Like, that's not his thing. Like, he's not Cam Newton trying to, like, run over dudes
right.
in the NFL. So with Josh Gordon, like, I hope he comes back. Like, I legitimately do hope he comes back, because I got a buddy who's a Browns fan, which he's not even from Cleveland, right? He's not even from Ohio. Like, he's from here. Like, I don't know how that happened. I feel bad for him. We give him crap all the time because Browns. But I want him to come back. Like, I want him to come back and be something that he was, because if he's only 25 years old, like, you still got, like, a good 5 years to basically do some stuff in the NFL, right? And if he had 1,600 and basically 50 yards, you know, 2013, so like 4 years ago, you know, when you were basically 21 years old, like, you can still be really productive and really good in the NFL. So I want that to happen, just so that way it can be a good redemption story, if nothing else.
Right, sure. No, I get it. And also I hope he just gets his life together.
Yeah. Speaking of a Cleveland Brown player trying to come back in the NFL and trying to get his life together.
Oh, yes.
Johnny Manziel.
Sorry, that's not funny. I don't know why I'm laughing.
I mean, look, here's the thing. When Manziel was in college, I loved watching him.
Yes,
like, he was one of my favorite people to watch in college, because he, by a former coach of his own admission, when they were in practice, they'd be like, all right, Johnny, we're going to run, play, da-da-da-da-da. Like, he was like, okay, coach, which, you know, basically meant, like, okay, we're going to do this and, like, you know, read the defense, throw a touchdown pass, and it'll be great. Johnny, you know, hike, grabs the ball, looks around, bleep this, just, like, starts running and runs for a touchdown. And, you know, the coach is like, what are you doing? It's like, yeah, but it worked. It's like, run it again. You know, like, you can't yell at him because it was successful and it worked out and good for you, but that's not what you were supposed to do, Johnny. which kind of is a metaphor for like the rest of.
I was going to say his life.
Right.
Kind of like his life.
Although it hasn't worked out perfectly for him, he's
he's still betting on it.
He's trying to come back now, right? Like that's seemingly what's happening. Like he rehired.
Everybody wants to be the comeback kid. I see.
I mean, he's trying. I mean, I give him a lot more of a chance than Vince Young. Just because he's more recently out of the NFL than Vince Young was.
All right.
The thing is with Manziel, like he hired his old agent, right? The agent that basically wanted him to like go through all these kind of like,
right?
I don't even know what you want to call it, like all these like steps or whatever to get back into the NFL. He rehired him, so it's one of those things where, it's looking like he's actually serious about this, and there's going to be interest from people, right? There's going to be interest from teams. The Cowboys were interested for a while, but they were also interested before they had a quarterback who could stay healthy, right? That was before they had Dak Prescott coming in and doing the stuff he did last year. Same way how they were intrigued last year with Adrian Peterson, but now with Ezekiel Elliott, it's not the same thing. But Manziel will get interest from somebody, right? Like the Houston Texans, who had no quarterback last year, like they probably would at least take a look at him to see if he would be any kind of thing to do. The Niners, because like, I mean, like what else are the Niners going to do? Like honestly, like if they all of a sudden decided to get Johnny Manziel, like it's not going to get much worse.
Whoa.
What?
Anyways,
am I wrong?
Continue. Whoa. Okay. Whoa.
You keep saying whoa. Like I'm not wrong though. Like
whoa.
They are. How can I say this? Skillfully challenged.
Okay,
like they don't have any skillful people.
We don't need to add to it.
You're just like, all right, we're gonna move on.
Anyways, continue.
But so as far as Johnny goes, like he's doing at least some of the necessary steps to get back in the NFL. The thing is, he just has to prove to the people in the NFL that he's a different guy.
Right.
Like, you can say all the things, go through certain steps or whatever, but you have to, like, prove to the NFL that you're not a quote-unquote distraction, especially if you're a quarterback.
Yes.
Like, it's one thing if you're a wide receiver. We kind of let that slide a little bit, see Terrell Owens, Randy Moss, people like that. Like, we let you slide if you got a lot of talent, but you're kind of like an insane person. Like, we'll let that go. Quarterback, I mean, I don't remember. Like, what quarterbacks are really good, but also kind of party animal maniacs, like successful ones. Like you've had ones that have kind of like burnt out. Like Jamarcus Russell went to the NFL and just basically didn't care about anything, and he got kicked out pretty quick. But as far as like the successful ones, like Brady's 39 and still doing stuff like he was doing when he was 28.
Sure.
Peyton Manning was like the most like studious quarterback I've ever seen. Like that dude was taking like AP classes and basically trying to like read the entire book, cover to cover, trying to study his brains out. Everybody, Aaron Rodgers, Cam Newton, like all of them are like really good, studying all the time, trying to get better. Like, and Manziel's kind of got to get to that point. Like, as much as you want to like say like, oh, he's just having fun. I mean, yeah, that too. Also, he seems to take it too far. Like, he seems like that buddy.
Yeah, he has to have limits.
Like, he's a buddy of yours. It's just like, I'm going to have one drink. All right, cool, Johnny. We're going to go out. Next thing you know, he's had like 10 shots. It's like, oh, there he goes. God.
Yeah.
And now he's just, over just like puking in the corner. It's like, you said you were going to have one. I saw more.
I wouldn't be able to hang out with a guy like that.
Right. But he seems kind of like that dude.
Right.
And I hope he kind of like curbs it. Not to where like he doesn't drink or anything else like that, because do what you want in that aspect, but just moderation kind of thing, right?
Yeah, you got to get it under control.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not affecting your money.
Right.
That's what my big thing with this is. It's just when guys with like the substance abuse or alcohol and things like that, it's cutting into your own money.
Right.
I don't know. Because we did talk about that a little bit earlier on the break, Anthony and I, to ourselves, but on different reasons why sometimes some of these guys can't, or it's very difficult for them to get a handle on it.
Right.
Because it's an addiction.
Like Josh Gordon, a thing like that. You were basically saying like,
for them.
Yeah, like with Josh Gordon, it's kind of thing of just like, well, why can't he, stop doing this? Like, if you get that much money, why don't you stop? It's like, well, that's not exactly how addicts work.
Right. No, yeah, no.
Like, that's not exactly how that goes. Like,
I'm just like, brother, man.
Like I was telling her, I was like, we're right now in the middle of Lent, right? The whole giving up things for 40 days that you feel is something that you need or, really like or whatever. And that's hard enough for 40 days, much less trying to take something that you really like doing and basically saying, okay, I'm not going to do that anymore, period. Like, that's really hard to do. Like, people get addicted to a lot of stuff. People get addicted to soda, to, coffee, to whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, try it out. Like, I don't know how much coffee you actually drink, but
No, actually, no, that's funny that you say that because I haven't had coffee in weeks because I'm trying not to have it.
You're trying not to have?
Because
how's that going?
I can have it every day. I'm doing fine. It's actually pretty funny because I literally have been, that's one thing that I've been giving up just because, well, but see, for me, it was the money thing.
Right.
I was spending like $6.
Right. sometimes
twice a day because sometimes I would have it in the morning, and then when I would go to my second job, I would have it then. So it's like what, $12, $14 a day because like I have to have almond milk. They charge extra for almond milk. Like, you know what I mean? And so that was really what it was for me. But then I understand that for me, at least, coffee was more of like a pleasure thing. So it was easy for me to cut it out because I enjoy money more than I enjoy coffee. So that's where my checks and balances came from. So I know that it's not, for me at least, it wasn't as addictive because I know that there are some people that are addicted to coffee where it literally ruins their day when they cannot have it. Like, it hurts them physically. Right. So I get that as well. So yeah, I guess I wasn't a good example.
Well, no, but I mean, like, everything happens. Like, I gave up soda, right? This is day 2 of it, and I feel like I'm going to be able to get through like a week and a half. Then I'm going to be like, you know what? Bleep this. I don't want to do this anymore. And then go back to it. But I'm going to try and do it, right? Like,
Sure.
One time
or you could have carbonated water.
Right. Yeah, you can kind of go around.
I like soda for the bubblies.
For the bubble.
Yeah, I like soda because of bubbles.
I've tried carbonated water, like so.
They have different flavored ones.
I don't like it.
Don't get like the nasty kind. Like, get the one that's flavored and it's like good. I'll send you some.
That might be a little bit better. Yeah. Okay.
So it actually literally tastes like soda, but I guess that's cheating.
I mean,
the Lord wants your best.
As long as it's not, dude. The sodas can do really bad stuff to you. Like, if you ever like have something that has like stained or whatever on like metal or whatever, like rust, something like that, that'll take it right off.
No, yeah, Coke.
Right, and that you put that in your body. Also, I work at a restaurant where, you have stuff that's like, really hot, spicy stuff. And I don't like that either. I don't tend to like the spicy stuff, but that'll, help you, clean up your immune system or whatever, because it's basically one of those things if it's just like spicy, it just like kills whatever's inside of you that just makes you feel bad. Also, it makes you cry and it ruins your day because I hate spicy stuff. So there's like a balance to it. But it's just like an addictive personality like anything else. And with Josh Gordon or Johnny Manziel, whoever we're talking about, like, they're at least trying to curb it. I mean, Josh Gordon went to rehab, so clearly he was just like, all right, I got to kind of do this.
That makes me feel like he's taking it seriously.
Right. Like, that's one of those things is like, and he went to rehab. It wasn't like he got basically forced into it. It was like him being like, all right, look, I kind of got to do this because that's from everything.
Was it mandated?
Right. Yeah. From everything I understand, it's basically, if you say like, oh, I'm going to go to rehab, that's a lot better than someone like your parents basically like forcing you to go. Like, those are two very different things.
No, I totally get that. So, anyways, with that,
there's, nothing really else with the NFL. Like, I saw this little thing here with Aaron Hernandez. Basically, Aaron Hernandez is, on trial still for other crimes
that he
crazy. May or may not have committed. Like, he's like,
that's wild.
That like the whole Patriots organization, like Brady and Wes Welker and everybody else that was on those teams. It's just one of those things. It was like, God, like, what was he like in practice? Like, I
remember you saying that, yeah.
Like, he had to have been someone that's just like, if he got mad, it was just like, all right, we're going to leave him alone. Like, let's go yell at Aaron. I'm not yelling at Aaron. You yell at Aaron. You see how that goes for you.
No, totally. I see what you're saying. So, with that, that's going to do it for this episode.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Pauline.
And I'm Anthony.
And you're going to be back tomorrow, right?
Yes.
He'll be back tomorrow. I'll be back on Monday. And for me, have a great weekend.
Yes, and I will see you guys tomorrow.
Bye.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.